Well, for the past 20 years, residents and visitors on Sanibel Island have been entertained by a small but enthusiastic group of actors.
That group is working harder than ever these days to try and keep the tradition alive. We hear more in this week's chapter of Long John's Journal.
I must have passed the place at least 100 times, but this time, for the first time, I decided to drop in.
Hey, Long John, it's about time you made it out here. Boy, do we have a show for you tonight.
Is that right?
We sure do, starting at 8 o'clock. The best show in town.
You don't hold any mystery for me, darling, do you mind? There isn't a particle of you I don't know, remember, and want.
I'm glad, my sweet.
Deep down in my deepest heart, I want you back again, please.
Elliot, don't say any more. You're making me cry so dreadfully. What now? Oh, darling, what now?
I don't know.
A barrier island might be one of the last places you would expect to find a fine theater performance, but Sanibel residents and tourists alike are always pleasantly surprised when they get a dose of the pirate Playhouse.
It would break Victor's heart.
And Sybil's too, for that matter, but it can't be helped.
We must tell them. What?
Carrie Lund has spent the last 2 years on Sanibel as an actor-producer at the Playhouse. The building was originally constructed in 1894 and served as Sanibel's first schoolhouse. But for the past 20 years, it's been all show business, a tradition that Carrie is determined to keep alive.
To have fine theater in a small area such as Sanibel is remarkable, but that comes from all of the support from the community, and there's a tremendous amount of talent in this area too, which is nice to see and find turning up at the Playhouse at every turn of the corner.
That would be great if you could get it darker.
Behind the scenes, you'll find all the technicians and support crew that one would expect on a Broadway show.
That's much better.
My responsibility is at the theater here to design the costumes, get them together for the actors so they have more time to work on their lines and be actors and actresses and get their look together, what period look they'll need, from shoes to jewelry, the whole works.
And of course, the Pirate Playhouse is never short on special effects.
We'll have a show coming up in which I'll be making somebody disappear on the stage under the lights in front of everyone's eyes. And exactly how that works I haven't figured out yet, but it will be interesting.
There's one thing in the world that infuriates me. It is sheer wanton stubbornness. I should like to cut off your head with a meat axe.
How dare you speak to me like that on our honeymoon night?
The production that's currently showing at the Playhouse is a classic comedy by Noel Coward entitled Private Lives. And as the actors explain, it's really mixed up lives.
Mother was perfectly right. She said you had shifty eyes.
What happens in the play is that Elliot, the character Robert plays, runs into his ex-wife who he's been divorced from for 5 years. It turns out that they really never hated each other. They just kind of like had a lot of disagreements, so get divorced and realize they still are deeply in love with each other.
So keep that tradition alive and catch a scene at the Pirate Playhouse. I'm close-up reporter Long John Bafar with this week's Journal.
What's your dog's name?
Muggsy.
What's your cat's name?
Opie.
What? Oh.
What's so funny? You have a dog named Bubby. You're just in time for Southwest Florida's only magazine program, Florida Close to Home. We're glad to have you along. I'm Amy Tardif, your host.
And I'm Rick McGee, your other host. Today we'll learn about many strange and unexplainable things that have happened right here. And we'll talk to some people who have actually had UFO sightings right here in Southwest Florida.
And for a scary adventure full of laughs and fun, we join comedian Chris Cowles on a haunted walk through the Calusa Nature Center in Fort Myers.
Well, that sounds like a scream, but first, let's take a trip over to the picturesque island of Sanibel, where a look at the past helps shed some light on the mysterious happenings at the old Schoolhouse Theater.
The Schoolhouse Theater on Periwinkle Way has all the charm and mystery that comes along with history. The main part of the building is more than 100 years old, and inside the place is full of nooks and crannies, and there are a few who'll tell you they felt, seen, or heard what could be a presence from the past.
I was in here alone. I was coloring some sets for the show we're in now. And there was whistling taking place in this back hallway. It was distinct whistling. I was here alone. It was 9 o'clock at night. There wasn't anybody around. And so I just kind of yelled at him, and he stopped. And I said, you know, I know who you are, and you're not bothering me, so I'm going to continue to color. And I did.
Okay, Philip, I hear you. Thank you.
Who is Philip? Is he responsible? A search into the past may provide answers. Originally, the theater was a schoolhouse. It was built around 1894 near the Sanibel lighthouse. It had a belfry which blew away in a hurricane. In 1903, the schoolhouse was moved to its present location. Children of all ages came here to learn and play. Eventually, rooms were added to accommodate the students. 6 rooms and porches now surround the original school room. The schoolhouse remained active until 1963. 1 year later, a theatrical couple from New York, Ruth and Philip Hunter, bought the property. Ruth Hunter, an established actress on Broadway, became best known for her performance as Ellie Mae, the hair-lift girl in the play Tobacco Road. In the 5 years she played the role, she never missed one of the 2,113 performances. Then the Hunters worked together on a radio program. For 15 years, they hosted Let's Go with the Hunters, a popular weekly radio show for New Yorkers. The Hunters would escape to Sanibel Island for vacation. Over the years, they grew to love the island, and with the purchase of the schoolhouse, their retirement dreams came true. In 1965, they moved in, turned the schoolhouse into a community theater, named it the Pirate Playhouse, and 2 months later began producing plays. The Playhouse was also the Hunters' home until 1982, when Philip, during a performance on stage, passed away. 11 years later, in 1993, Ruth joined him. Not empty for long, the Playhouse was back in business in 1984 as a community and professional theater. The Off-Beach Players is one of the companies that's been producing plays there ever since. June Koch has been producing community theater since 1984, and she's had her share of strange experiences.
There was a red scarf that was constantly missing. It kept showing up in different places. That was our first assumption, that there was some kind of a trickster here. And we knew it wasn't the actors. They just weren't, that wasn't happening, because it was the one actor who did play the tricks that the tricks were being played on. He was the one who needed to wear the red scarf, and we couldn't find it. And that was like their first, experience with it. And doors would slam all the time, like lights go off. Yeah, that's Philip.
Is there something strange going on here? To find out, we invited 2 sensitives to join June on a tour through the theater and the adjoining home.
Because I was very aware of a little woman coming in and out and back and forth, and she wears a long dress, and she has her apron scooped up like she has maybe fresh fruit or vegetables, and she's preparing a meal or something, but she's a rather petite lady, and I just keep seeing her go back and forth, and she just seemed real busy and very involved in what she was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a door that you can't see that we've covered up, and I believe when I came back here, like it was, when I opened the theater, like 85, there was a staircase was originally there from the schoolhouse.
Okay.
And, yes.
Okay, 'cause I felt like there might be a kitchen back in that corner.
The kitchen is actually goes around that way to the kitchen.
Okay, well, maybe
had
she's
to
coming
cross
from
through
it.
Right,
But,
exactly,
okay.
yes.
That used to be the entrance
front
to
door
this room.
To this room, yes.
Okay, because there's a man standing right there. He's very tall and thin.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him.
And
Definitely tall.
yeah,
They're real happy we're here.
Yeah, they
Oh, are they? Okay,
yeah,
great.
he's
Good.
welcoming us.
Okay.
And at first he was a little apprehensive about the whole thing. And then once he got talking to you previously, like days ago,
Yes.
and
Yes.
with you, then he agreed to it, and he thinks it is good for this building. Is there an upstairs?
No. No, well, there's a little crawl space. I can't say no. There's a very small crawl space. Very small. People have partially crawled through there, yes.
Did the children used to play up there?
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Because the dust is falling from them running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't covered like this is now.
No, it wasn't. No, that's what they, it was a little lower because you can see all the pipes when it was lower than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The source of the popping sound you've just heard cannot be explained. Listen again to the enhanced sound, and you can also hear what sounds like children playing.
Yeah, that wasn't covered like this is now.
No, it wasn't. No, it was a little lower because you can see all the pipes when it was lower than that. Yeah, I'm taking part of it away. Yeah.
Okay, we need to go that way.
The popping sound did not return, so our tour continues. Next stop, the home behind the stage.
Was there a female that was quite ill that was here for a while? I sensed a young woman who had a lot of difficulty, and I think she was struggling with depression. There was an emotional depression.
And I feel that daughter, yes.
And I feel her in that room back there.
She's also one who still makes the noise here. This is the room where the mind is off balance. Now that over there was a hiding place. Okay.
Is that why I don't want to go in there?
It might be, but that was a hiding place. I don't know if she went in there when she really wanted to recluse.
We stop the tape again to bring your attention back to the sound. This time listen for low laughter.
She went in there when she really wanted to recluse. Okay, I'm also hearing Rose or Rosalie. Was there someone here named Rose?
They might have called Ruth Rose.
Did they grow roses outside?
They grew roses outside.
Yeah, okay.
Around the front.
Maybe the roses were a clue. Ruth's sister's name was Rosemary. Is there something here? We're not sure, but the sensitives definitely feel a positive, welcoming energy.
I have to tell you that when there are performances going on, there are a lot of spirit beings that just fill this room. Some of them are actors. Yes, they are. Some were actors. Some were people who were friends or guides for people who were performing and involved in the show. And so they come for a lot of different reasons, but they come to really share their energy, and they come, with a loving energy and a way of blessing and giving good energy.
They had no idea that there was a Philip and Ruth Hunter here. We hadn't discussed anything. When they came in and they described him and her to a T, I just thought that was great. That was exciting. But my real surprise is that they had found a lot of other people here. I was surprised to see that our old costumer was here, though. That amazed me. When they went in the back in the dressing room and the girl saw the man with the mustache, that took me aback, too.
I especially want to thank them for welcoming us in here and letting us tell their story, because it's really very warm and very beautiful. They were very, very giving people.
I don't honestly know if there's anything to people's energies being left in an area once they've departed, but many people at the old schoolhouse say they feel friendly feelings from past residents. Amy, I know you've done a lot of community theater. Have you ever worked at the old schoolhouse?
I have worked at the old schoolhouse just this summer, and as a matter of fact, I did feel kind of scared when I walked in there at first. I thought I'd actually get lost in all the back rooms and nooks and crannies, but the warmth came over me right away. I knew exactly where I was going. The only thing I did feel was some wafts of cold air running through the dressing room every now and then. Maybe it was that costume designer. Anyway, I'm glad they let me in.